10 things we don't want. Number 10, we do not want a high price point like the PlayStation 3. That thing came out at like $600, and that is not a valuable purchase for any gamer, no matter how good the exclusives are. And Sony, yes, does have some pretty damn good exclusives, but we're not talking about a point in time where consoles are something inherently different than a PC. In fact, most of them are just kind of pared down PCs at this point. You're buying the brand, you're buying the user interface, and you're buying the power of the company to secure good software. The curation, so to speak, which, as you know, is questionable sometimes, and since we do know the PS4 and the PS4 Pro did actually represent a decent hardware increase and didn't exactly break the bank as far as introducing new price points above and beyond.
Very proud to announce that PlayStation 4 will be available at $399.
I'm worried they're going to try to use perception to try to make the PS5 seem much more powerful by introducing a higher price point. But I'll say this is just a personal worry. I don't really have evidence for it. I just know business people like money. Number 9, no gimmicks that they advertise and never actually use in a game, like the touch bar on the PS4 controller. You know where you've seen the touch bar used on a PS4 controller? In the commercials for the PS4. If a feature literally only gets used in the advertisement for the feature, that's a good indicator it's not going to be useful for people. And unless you can come up with something that is useful for people, like let's say the Nintendo Switch and all of the various functionality it brings, don't do it. Now that's not to say I'm taking a big old dump on the touchpad on the PS4 controller. It has potential as an idea. If controllers with touchpads on them wasn't a good idea, there wouldn't be a Nintendo Switch. But Sony sure didn't make any push for people to actually use that thing. Number 8, we don't want another system that doesn't give us backwards compatibility. We've spent so much time and money building our PS4/PS4 Pro libraries, digitally speaking, that a trade-in for a PS4 or a PS4 Pro to a PS5 is not even close to worth it. The PS4 is not even a bad system as far as consoles go. Is it getting a little dated? Sure, but could you not allow me to play all of the digital content I have purchased on the PlayStation platform with maybe a PS5 enhanced patch? Of course you could. That's why not doing it is one of the key things that you're going to hear people very loud about. If they don't do it, people are going to be probably more mad this generation than any previous one. Especially having the PS4 Pro, which introduced the idea of the PlayStation as a platform, like a software platform, like a Steam, and the hardware just kind of being something that allows you to play, which is the same thing that Xbox is seemingly trying to do as well. If we see no backwards compatibility, there's going to be problems. Number 7, we really don't want the PlayStation 5 to go all digital. Now, does that mean we definitely have to have all of the games on disc? I don't know. That's probably better answered by people who don't have access to good internet. But because I know those people exist, the idea of going fully digital seems like something that would exclude a lot of gamers. A lot of us come from rural areas, and the thing that we have to do, other than plowing the fields and hoeing and all that, yes, that is a joke. Having it go full digital, meaning only downloads, means waiting for downloads for multiple days, because people without decent internet are really stuck if that's where we're going. Having discs for games allows a lot of people to actually play games. And if you think there's not a lot of people without access to decent internet, I urge you to look into how bad coverage is in some rural areas. And when I say some rural areas, I mean large swaths of the country in the middle region of the country. Number 6, do not give us a small internal SSD. If we get a solid state drive, it has to be a good sized one. Because let's face it, games keep getting bigger, and as the standard moves towards solid state, and let me just go ahead and say this, if it's not an SSD, I don't even know what Sony's doing. But as things progress, we can't have a small SSD. It's gotta be big, because even if they don't forego the disk slot and allow you to have a disk, oftentimes you're installing large portions of the game on the hard drive as a requirement now. If they cheapo out on this or make a model that's intended to get you to buy a larger model, I just think that would be really just terrible. Give us the means to play a decent amount of games on our console before we have to worry about storage. Number 5, and this one is going to seem so obvious, but there's some context that I think makes it really necessary to bring up. We don't want to see anything less than 60 frames per second on games. And I bring that up because a lot of games right now on the PlayStation 4 Pro look amazing. And in a lot of respects, I'm not that concerned with the fidelity at this point. I don't care as much. I certainly want graphics to progress. I certainly want my games in 4K, but I'll tell you what I need. 60 frames per second. At this point, if the game isn't looking good and running smooth, why are we buying your console? Why are we gaming on your platform? We're like 2 generations into an era where there supposedly was never going to be a console again. You need to start justifying things. And that doesn't, like I said, mean giving us a $3,000 gaming PC in a $400 box. It means making a platform that is powerful, optimized, well documented, and well supported for all the devs out there who are making stuff for it, so we get nice, smooth experiences right away. Number 4, don't go all USB-C like Apple. Don't get me wrong, USB-C is sweet. It's so good. If you want to only put USB-Cs on the front of the console, that's fine because they look great, they plug in great, they feel great, they work really well too, but give us some more ports on the back. It doesn't hurt for us to be able to charge our stuff on the back of the thing. It also doesn't hurt for peripherals that might be compatible to actually be compatible. We don't want to see the platform limited as opposed to open. Again, we're in a console generation where a console really needs to start justifying being a thing. So make it nice, accessible, open, and easy for us. Number 3, we don't want the PS5 to be too loud. And I'm not saying that in a stop making loud games. No, I'm talking about the fact that the PS4 has like a built-in propulsion system and blasts off into space every time a game gets a little bit more detailed. Oh, we gotta run a cinematic where there's some high detail and some faces. Your PS4 is gonna have to go to Mars for that. Please don't do this. Number 2, something that would make me ever so happy is for them to forego a cheap battery this time around. Don't give us crappy battery life on the controllers again. Now I know you're saying, the battery life, it's 6 hours, that's a long time. I would say, maybe you haven't realized that you might leave the controller on the couch and then come to the couch later and be like, I'm gonna sit down and play a game, and oh hey, there's no battery. I'm gonna have to wait for it to charge. It's not like it stayed on the whole time. Controller went to sleep almost immediately, and then PS4 went to sleep, and I wanted to come back to it. I wanted to turn everything back on, but you know what? I was playing the game for a few hours and there's no battery. Plus, when the battery gets old, it stops being a 6-hour battery and starts being like a 2-hour battery. I don't know anybody who plays a JRPG for 2 hours. They don't exist. Now, does that mean get rid of things like the touchpad or the light bar? No, it means put a better battery in the thing. Although I did bring up the touch bar as a gimmick that hasn't been used, I don't understand why it hasn't been used. And you would be even cooler? Put a touchscreen in the damn controller next time around. I don't care. The Nintendo Switch has a huge screen in it, and with some of the games I play, it lasts a really long time. And that's got like a graphics processor in it, running all that stuff. I think you can run a controller with just like a touch menu or something for more than 6 hours at this point in time. And finally, number 1, we do not want an early release date. Don't put out the PS5 in 2019. That would be absurd. You rush the darn thing out and it's going to be underpowered compared to the competition. And let's be honest, people are probably not going to want a PS5 Pro in 4 years. In all honesty, PS4 Pro made me go, wow, hey, slow down. I don't want this. That's not to say it's not cool. It's not to say that I dislike it. I like it, actually. I just can't be buying a replacement console every 2-3 years. It feels really, like, early. Especially when you see games like God of War come out that don't even require the PS4 Pro to clearly be like among the best looking games on the PS4. Like, the potential is reached late in the cycle, not early. Why just kneecap it halfway through? Take your time, Sony, do it right, make it last. I feel like there's probably a few things we said here that you probably didn't want either. Let us know in the comments what you're thinking about with the PS5, some other things you maybe don't want to see as well, or hell, even things you do want to see.